Okay, great. So again, thank you so much for being here. For those of you who are watching this not live later, you can access the playlist down below in the write-up on YouTube. So the reason I gathered all of us to come together and chat and flow and breathe is no doubt we are in a time where I think it's really necessary for us to find ways to come together, but more so find ways to come together where, this is the theme of the class, where we really lay down the burdens and the stresses and the worries and all of the mind traps that keep us in this cycle of being in our bodies from our neck up and building tension and stress and anxiety and overwhelm by staying in our heads only. So this class, this practice today is an opportunity for all of us to come together and truly lay down what feels hard, what feels heavy, what feels challenging, what feels like it's clenching our body and our breath. And what I always like to share with my students in moments like this is, I know what can come up when you hear this. It's, well, some of this stuff I have to carry, I have to hold. Some of my burdens, I can't just lay it down. And what I always say is, lay it down at least for an hour. If you want, at the end of this practice, you can pick all your burdens, your worries, your stresses, your overwhelm, you can pick it back up. But at least for this hour, lay it down. And you're doing this in honor of being able to show up for your life, for your friends, for your family, for your community, for the world at large, with more presence. Because when we're always holding what feels heavy, we start to become contracted in our body, contracted in our breath, and then that eventually causes contraction in the way we move through this world, through our thoughts and through our emotions. So in a dynamic release method class, for those of you who are newer to me, we focus very much on the nervous system, so the autonomic nervous system, which is associated with our fight or flight. And we do this through slow, deep breathing and keeping our awareness and our attention on sensation rather than going and shooting up to our head, our thoughts, especially when we're feeling challenged in the flow, or when we notice that the mind chatter is taking over, because oftentimes the mind chatter will take over when transformation is taking place. When change is taking place, the ego gets freaked out. And one of the ways the ego keeps us from having transformation take place is it gets louder. It gets louder through mind chatter. And so our role as yogis is to really stay present with the breath and with the sensation so we can allow for the alchemy to take place. So we'll work a lot with the breath and the awareness of sensation, and you'll hear me talk a lot about that. We also move as though we're moving through thick salt water so that we're soft in our joints. You'll see me moving a lot like this, soft in my finger joints, my wrist joints, my elbow joints, my shoulder joints. But that also allows for an extension of the breath, like you're floating in salt water. You would extend the inhalation and the exhalation naturally because everything slows down quite a bit. And then the final thing that we focus on to really help draw us into what yogis refer to as the subtle body or the energy body is our fascial system. And the fascial system is this connective tissue that runs through our entire body. It's actually fascinating, and I could just sit here and talk about it all day, but it covers us like a bodysuit from head to toe, but it also intertwines within our organs. And so what science now knows about the fascial system is, yes, it is very important to the health and well-being and longevity of our body. We need to massage out through long, deep holds and postures, through myofascial release, whether this is through massage or self-massage or joint work, and also a lot of breath work to really lubricate and loosen the fascia so that we have well-being in our physical body. However, what science is doing that is amazing is it's finally catching up to the wisdom of yoga. And they're now realizing, because this web of fascia also moves within our organs, within our hearts and our livers and our bellies, we are now finding that this is also deeply connected to our emotional and mental well-being. It's not just part of our physical well-being, but it's much like our nervous system. It's part of our regulatory system, they're realizing. And in yoga, we talk about something called nadis, which are it's the energy system. In Chinese medicine, we call them meridians. And these nadis and meridians are where the flow of prana or chi runs, which the way that I always describe this is, imagine a river flowing. Well, we have many, many rivers flowing through us all over our body. And when there's construction, so something constructs the flow of that water, say a tree falls or leaves or trash bags pile up somewhere, the flow of water gets constricted. And so we have to actually go in there and move the leaves, remove the trash bags, pick the tree up so that flow of water or flow of chi, flow of prana, flow of life force can flow with more ease and fluidity. So the way we do that is through these long, deep holds in these poses, so that we can access and broaden our breath and really tap into our subtle body. And what science is finding with the fascial system is that for the longest time, science has been wanting to prove this thing, this energy body, this subtle body. Is there really meridians? How do they know about meridians? How do they know about nadis? And they're actually starting to discover that the energy body, the subtle body, is true, and they're finding it through the fascial system. It's amazing, you guys. So the work we're going to do today is deep. We'll move slow, we'll breathe deep, and we're going to hold space to really lay down what feels heavy. Thank you so much for being here. So go ahead, get to your mat. But before you do that, let's all hit play on the music for those of us who are doing that. We're going to hit it. I'm going to count to 3, and on 3, hit play. That way we're in sync here. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, let's go ahead and head over to our mat. All right, my friends. So come on into Virasana, or Vajrasana, actually. So sitting on your heels, hands on your lap. And just take a moment to settle into your seat. Notice what you're noticing and feel what you're feeling. Feel the back of your neck lengthen, as though I'm coming up behind you and I'm taking my fingers and I'm holding the edge of your skull where it meets the neck, and I'm lengthening it up so the chin will slightly drop. Feel the shoulders relax. Feel the belly soften. Let your lips slightly part. The tongue will hit the roof of the mouth just behind the upper teeth. We're going to play with some breath here. So bring your left hand onto your low belly below your navel, and then your right hand on your low back. And now take a slow inhale, counting to 4. And as you inhale, feel the belly expanding and the back expanding like a balloon filling up with air as you inhale to 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, as you exhale on a count of 4, slowly feel how everything draws back into the center, back into the midline. And then do that again. Don't worry about it being exact, but just a slow inhale of about 4 seconds, feeling that expansion like a balloon filling up with air in the low back and the front of the body, low belly. And then as you exhale, everything in that area draws in. This is diaphragmatic breathing here in the low belly. Good. Now bring your hands up to your rib cage on the left and the right side of your rib cage, and we're going to go into thoracic breathing. And just like we did before, in a count of about 4, inhale and feel how the rib cage will expand out like an accordion. So it feels 3-dimensional as you expand slowly, inhaling, bringing that vital energy in. And then as you exhale, you're going to feel the rib cage drawing back in towards the center. Slow, deep inhalation, slow, deep exhalations. Just do that one more time on your own. Notice what you're noticing here. Feel what you're feeling. And then go ahead and bring one hand onto the center of your chest, and the other hand, you're going to extend it down and then bend and reach up. I'll turn around so you can see, touching the back of your heart more or less. So this is called clavicular breathing, and you're going to breathe into your heart, the front of your heart, the back of your heart, the front of your lungs, the back of your heart. And as you inhale in that slow count of 4, you're going to feel the upper back and upper chest lift and broaden. And then as you exhale, you're going to feel everything soften. It's like the heart just softens and releases, like there's a bowl just holding your heart and your lungs so they can rest. And do that one more time. Slow, deep inhale of about a count of 4, breathing into the upper chest, upper back. And then as you exhale, feel the heart and the lungs softening. Good. And then just slowly release your arms, bring them back onto the lap. And then take one breath and see if you can fill all 3 cavities. So the belly, the rib cage, the sternum, everything fills up 3-dimensionally, slowly on a count of 4. And as you exhale, everything releases and hugs back into the center in about a count of 4. Do that maybe one more time, noticing what you're noticing, feeling what you're feeling, really giving yourself permission to get curious about and savor the breath. Remembering that throughout this practice, breath is boss. Breath is boss, and all of the movement is going to become vital and alive through our willingness to be with the breath for this practice. And then the final breath work that we're going to do before we start moving and flowing is called the 4-part dynamic release breath. You're going to inhale through your nose and do that slow, deep inhale of about a count of 4. And then as you exhale, exhale out of the mouth. Second round, inhale through your nose. And then as you exhale this time, exhale out of your nose. Third round, inhale through your nose. And then this time, exhale with a sighing sound, bathing your nervous system. Fourth round, inhale through your nose. And this time, exhale any way that feels most releasing, most freeing to you. Let a natural inhalation occur, a natural exhalation. Good. And then go ahead and slowly open your arms on an inhale out to the left and the right. And again, remember that you're moving through salt water this entire time, so soft in the joints. And then as you exhale, draw the palms together and imagine that there's like lead or electricity trying to push the palms away as you start to draw them together. We're going to do that 2 more times. As you inhale, the fingers face forward, soft in the joints. You're moving through salt water as you expand and open. Maybe feel the center of the chest lifting. And then as you exhale, the palms start to come together, but feel that pressure almost as though something is trying to keep your hands from coming together. Good. One more time to inhale, open and expand, but stay soft in the joints. And this time as you exhale, the right elbow is going to come under the left elbow, crossing at the elbows and the wrists, coming into eagle arms. Lift the elbows so they're shoulder height, and you're going to feel this opening, especially across the left side of your shoulder. Now on your next inhale, lift the forearms up towards the heavens. See if you can get the forearms essentially parallel to the ceiling. Then as you exhale, round the elbows into the navel, chin into chest. Feel the back of the scapulas drawing apart. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, rise up, 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 up. Find extension of the spine, a nice back bend here. Don't force, just focus. Stay with the breath. And then as you exhale, draw in. This is called flexion of the spine. Let's do that 1 more time. Remember, moving slow and deep. Inhale, rising up, feeling that upper back, upper shoulders open. And then as you exhale, flexion of the spine, deep rounding of the spine, elbow into navel, chin to chest. Good. Inhale, come all the way up, extend the arms all the way up towards the heavens, they release. And as you exhale, open them out to the side, again, moving through salt water. Now, as you exhale this time, go ahead, or yeah, exhale and just draw the left elbow underneath the right elbow, crossing at the wrist. So opposite sides, once again, eagle arms, lift the elbows shoulder height. Inhale, lift the forearms up towards the heavens, find that extension, back bend. And then as you exhale, round in, elbows towards navel, chin to chest. 2 more. Inhale, use the breath. One more time, inhale, rising up. And exhale, drawing in. Good. Inhale, arms extend all the way up. And then as you exhale, slowly float them down onto your lap. All right, let's lift our bums up and come into Malasana Squat. However, in this squat, I would like for you, to the best of your ability, have your feet facing forward rather than turned out. So feet facing forward rather than turned out. Heels on the earth and armpits in the knees. But if that isn't accessible to you, you'll be lifted up onto the balls of your feet, and that's totally fine. We're going to stay here for a couple of breaths, opening into our hips. Feel the tailbone drawing heavy. The tailbone is reaching down in between the heels. But since the feet are facing forward, you're not completely in there. And then feel the low belly, how it draws in and up. The low belly is engaging and holding you up. And then there's a slight flexion in the spine here as you bring your armpits to your knees. You're going to start to feel things waking up, the back of the thighs and the back of the calves, the ankles. And then just notice what you're noticing, especially if in this moment you're feeling challenged. Let's stay here 2 more breaths. Again, keep your attention and your focus on the breath and sensation rather than going into your head into stories or emotions. If something naturally wants to purge, that's fine, but see if you can stay present. All right, take 1 inhale here. Now, as you exhale, lift your hips and fold over your legs. Inhale, wave the spine up halfway. And exhale, fold. And just give yourself a moment here to just dangle over your legs. You can have bent knees or you can extend through the legs. But if you do extend through the legs, really feel the low belly drawing in and up, and lift the kneecaps so you engage the front of the thighs, the quadriceps, opening up the back of the thighs, the hamstrings. Okay, now from here, you're going to bend your knees deeply, so deeply that your entire torso is draped over your thighs, chin to chest. Take an inhale here, drawing your low belly in and up. Now, as you exhale, keeping the knees bent, wave the spine up vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae. As you inhale, like you're moving through salt water, the arms slowly float up overhead. Palms touch overhead, knit the rib cage in, and then wiggle it away from your hips. Then as you exhale, touch the back of your heart, slowly sliding it to the crown of your head, your third eye, and then eventually the front of your heart. And then bring your arms by your side. You're going to come to the top of your mat if you're not already there. We're going to go through a pretty unique flow here. So we're going to start in intense toe stretch. So you're going to come back down onto your knees, onto your shins, but keep your toes tucked this time and sit back on your heels. So the move that can be challenging for people, but you'll get it because you'll just meet yourself where you're at, is we're going to go from intense toe stretch into Malasana. Maybe you want to play with that right now. Just try once, going from intense toe stretch, boom, into Malasana. Okay, so let's come back to intense toe stretch. Bring your hands on your laps here, relax your shoulders. Remember that breath is boss, stay focused on the sensation. We're going to go through this a few times to start to heat up the body. All right, my friends, let's begin. As you inhale, lift the hips up, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, cactus the arms. As you do this, lift the heart, feel the tailbone lengthen down towards the back of the knees. Inhale, rise up, right elbow comes under the left elbow, crossing at the wrist, eagle arms. As you exhale, twist just the upper body to the right. Feel the outside of the left shoulder stretching. Inhale, come back through center, reach the arms up overhead. As you exhale, cactus the arms, lift the heart, feel the pubic bone lift up towards the navel. Inhale, rise up, this time left elbow underneath right elbow, cross at the elbows and the wrists, and as you exhale, twist just the upper body to the right. Feel the outside of the right shoulder stretching. Inhale through center, and then as you exhale, slowly sit back onto your heels, palms up, lay down what feels heavy. Next, inhale, roll over the ankles, come into Malasana Squat. Now as you exhale, lift the hips, fold over your legs. Inhale to wave the spine up halfway. Exhale, fold. Crown of the head towards the earth. Deep bend in the knees. Draw the low belly in and up on an inhale. As you exhale, wave the spine up vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale slowly like you're moving through salt water. Float the arms up overhead. Palms touch, knit the rib cage in. As you exhale, bend the elbows, touch the back of the heart, and then sweeping it along the crown of the head and the third eye, bring it to the front of the heart. Arms by your side, Tadasana. Keep going. Inhale, sweep the arms out and around, up over your head. Slow, fluid movement. Exhale, hinge at the hips, lead with the heart, fold over your legs. Inhale, wave the spine up halfway. Exhale, sit low in your seats, Malasana Squat. Inhale, start to draw your knees forward, balancing on the balls of your feet. As you exhale, you're going to slowly lower your knees to the mat. Torso draws back and you're in intense toe stretch once again. Moving on, inhale, rise up, lift the hips up, lift the arms up. Exhale, cactus the arms, lift the heart, feel the heart opening here. Inhale, rise up, right elbow under left. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, come back to center, floating the arms up overhead. Exhale, cactus the arms, feel the heart opening here. Keep feeling the pubic bone lift up towards the navel. Inhale, rise up, left elbow under right elbow. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, come through center, and as you exhale, sit back on your heels, palms up, lay it down. Next, inhale, rolling over, find your Malasana Squat. Exhale, lift the hips, fold over your legs. Inhale to wave the spine up halfway. Exhale, fold over your legs. Deep bend in your knees. Inhale, draw the low belly in up. Exhale, wave the spine up, vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale to float the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, bend the elbows, touch the back of the heart, and then sweeping it from the crown of the head to the third eye to the front of the heart. Arms by your side. Let's see if we can get one more of those in. Inhale to sweep the arms out and around, up over your head. Exhale, hinge at the hips, lead with the heart, fold over your legs. Inhale, wave the spine up halfway. Exhale, Malasana Squat. Inhale, rising to the balls of the feet, knees face forward, balancing here. Exhale, slowly lower the knees to the mat, intense toe stretch. Inhale, lift the hips, arms up overhead. Exhale, cactus the arms out, lift the heart. Inhale, rise up, bring that right elbow underneath the left and twist to the right upper body. Inhale, come back to center, floating the arms up overhead. Exhale again, cactus arms, really feel this heart opening, nice extension of the spine. Inhale, rise up, left elbow underneath right. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, release the hands, palms up on the lap, hips to heels. Next, inhale, roll over the toes, Malasana Squat. Exhale, lift the hips, folding over your legs. Inhale, wave the spine up halfway. Exhale, fold over your legs. Deep, deep bend in your knees. Take an inhale here, draw the low belly in and up. As you exhale, wave the spine up. 5, 4, 3, 2. Inhale, float the arms up overhead. Palms touch. Exhale, bend the elbows, touch the back of the heart. And then slide it forward to the front of your heart. Arms by your side, Tadasana. Take a moment, just notice what you're noticing, feel what you're feeling here. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. See if you can feel the subtle body, the energy body around your fingers. Maybe you feel a little tingly or vibrating. All right, you're going to go ahead and grab, if you only have a tennis ball, you'll grab a tennis ball, but otherwise grab that ball that you brought that's a little bit harder or a little bit smaller. And you're going to bring that underneath your right foot, under the ball of your foot. So the ball of your foot is the front of your foot right behind your toes. And then you've got the arch of the foot, which is the center, and then the back of the foot is the heel. So you're letting the foot drape over your ball, right over the center of the front of your foot. And just as I'm doing, you want to stand as much as possible in Tadasana, mountain pose. Equal weight in both feet. Try not to force weight into that right foot, but also try not to move away from it. And then use your breath like a soft caress to settle into this moment and allow the tension to start to dissipate as you use your breath to relax and send a message to the nervous system that you're safe, everything's okay. It's like we use our breath to speak to our fascia and to speak to our muscles and to speak to our regulatory system. All right, you're now going to move the ball to the arch of the foot, the center of the foot. And what you're going to find here is that there's probably a bit more sensation here now. So you may need to broaden the breath, really breathing into all three areas that we practiced in the beginning of the class. And just like I did, if any sighing sounds want to naturally come out, let that happen. That is your body's natural way of relieving tension. It's not just some weird woo-woo yoga thing we do. Okay, so now roll around on the sole of the foot, roll the ball around. And then you're going to find a third and final spot on this side. It can be anywhere, towards the front of the foot, back of the foot, the left of the foot, the right of the foot. But what you're looking for is an area that's speaking to you through the word that we use called pain or tension. So something that feels tender, something that, oof, wow, that's where you want to go. And again, it's not about going there and forcing, but it's about going there and focusing on your breath as you start to give attention to what feels hard and what feels difficult, because our body is always speaking to us and giving us messages. This needs attention, but it needs attention in a positive way. It needs us to be there and just hold it like we would a sick child. And breathe with that tension. Okay, so slowly step off of your ball and just place both your feet on the ground. And even in just a couple of minutes of work like that, you'll likely notice a difference between the two feet. The foot you worked on likely feels broader and more connected to the earth. But the thing I always want my students to pay attention to is also pay attention to your ankle, your knee, your hip, and even the bone in the leg that you worked on. All of those things have been impacted just from you working on the fascia on the sole of your foot. All right, let's go ahead and even that out. So now you're going to bring it to the left foot and start at the front of the foot, the ball of the foot, center of it. And again, as much as possible, find equal weight on both sides. You'll feel the toes just dripping and draping over the ball. Almost imagine your foot's like a piece of silk. Okay. Let's move it to the center, the arch of the foot. Again, move slowly because there's likely a bit more sensation here. Give yourself a moment to settle into it. Use your breath however it feels most appropriate. Remembering that we have those 4 parts, right? The 4-part dynamic release breath is to teach you that there's many ways to exhale, whether it's out of the mouth, out of the nose, through a sigh, or any way that feels most releasing to you. Okay, and then just roll around on the sole of the foot and find a third and final spot that calls to you. Start to learn how your body speaks to you. Listen closer, listen with more compassion. And then breathe with your body. Breathe with your sensations. Breathe with your pain. If emotions start to come up, know that this is natural. You're working with the fascia. And like I said, it's all interconnected. We are working on ourselves holistically right now. Mind, body, and soul. Okay, go ahead and move that ball off to the side. And again, just take a moment in Tadasana and notice what you're noticing. Feel what you're feeling. Get in a practice of not rushing from one thing to the next, so that you can really work with the nervous system, which means you're working with integration. And when you're working with integration, you'll really start to see the changes happen much more rapidly. Okay, come to the front of your mat. Find your Tadasana. Feel the pubic bone magnetizing up towards the navel, tailbone lengthening towards the back of the heels, the low belly's drawing in and up. Feel the rib cage knitting in like you're wearing a corset, and I just tightened it, but simultaneously open your heart. So feel a lengthening across the collarbones as the shoulder heads draw back. Soften the neck, soften the jaw. Take an inhale like you're moving through salt water. Float the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips, slight bend in the knees, fold over your legs. Inhale to wave the spine up halfway. And then as you exhale, step the left foot to the back of the mat. Find your low lunge. So we'll start here. And what I mean by start here is stay here as well. Really find a strong low lunge because it's the foundation of every standing pose. So your right knee is on top of your right ankle, and then the left heel is on top of the ball of the left foot. So rather than pushing the heel back, you're actually rocking forward onto the ball of the foot, strengthening the foot, working with the fascia, strengthening the ankle. Feel the right sitting bone lift up. The hips are level. The back of the left hamstring is lifting up. You should feel so strong here that you can lift your hands up off the mat. The low belly is drawing in and up because the majority of what's holding me up, believe it or not, is actually my core, my center. Now slowly place your hands back down on the mat and lower the left knee to the mat as well. Bring your right hand to your thigh, left hand to your thigh. Move your hips back slightly so that you can lift your pubic bone up towards your navel. Just let your hands do whatever they want. They could be by their side. I want you to focus on the legs. Drop the outer right hips down slightly to lift the left side. And then let the hips come forward, but keep the integrity of pubic bone lifting up towards the navel. You might not go as far, but you're going to feel the front of the left thigh wake up. You're going to get deep into the muscles and the fascia around those muscles in a much deeper way. Slow, deep inhalations, about a count of 4. Same with the exhales matching. Now, sweep the arms up overhead and get them in line with your ears. As you do that, you're going to feel a lengthening across the collarbones and ideally the center of your sternum lifting as the scapulas draw down your back. Now, at this point, if you're really listening to all these details and showing up for them and slowing your breath down, you should feel that you're working. Like this should really feel like, whew, And maybe the mind chatter is coming up, like, I don't like this. I don't like holding poses this long. Remember, the mind will start chattering when transformation is happening because the ego mind wants you to stay the same. So in that moment, go, yay, and breathe into it. Something is shifting. Something is changing. Good. Now slowly come down, frame your front foot. Bring your right hand on the inside of your right foot and then heel toe the right foot to the outer edge of the mat. Turn the toes out slightly at a 45-degree angle. Lift the left knee and just draw the left knee back in space a little bit. Now you can either stay upright here or you can lower your forearms down onto a block or a pillow, or you can lower the forearms directly down onto the mat. You want to make sure the elbows are under the shoulders, and what you're going to be feeling here is sensation now in the right leg, the outer hip, but also you might feel it in the inner right thigh and groin. Let's all take a collective inhale into the back of our hearts, back of our lungs. And exhale, let it go with a sigh. Let your neck muscles relax, so chin towards chest, and just breathe here. Good. Now from here, you're either going to stay here for a couple of breaths or rise up to your hands. We'll get a little twist, heart opener, in front of our left thigh into this. Reach your right arm back behind you, thumb facing up. You can also just stay here and start to bend the left leg. And if you don't quite, the connection isn't there, you can just work on holding that. Or grab the outside edge of your left foot with your right hand. Flare the toes away and start to draw the heel towards the buttocks. Now you're really going to feel the fascia and the muscles moving and expanding in the front of the left thigh. Stay on your hand, or you can lower down to your forearm, twisting the right shoulder back, opening your heart. Use your breath here. Just 2 more breaths. Now, if you have a hold of that back foot, slowly let it go and bring your right hand back on the inside of that right foot. And if you're down on the left forearm, just come on up. Now from here, you're going to keep the right foot where it is and simply send your hips back as you straighten the right leg. Flex the toes to face the ceiling so the hands are on the inside of that right foot. Take an inhale, lengthen the spine, draw the outer right hip back in space. Then as you exhale, bend into the elbows. As you lengthen the heart towards the front of the mat, you're going to feel the back of the right thigh opening. You might also feel it on the inside and the outside of the leg as well. Couple breaths here. Use your breath like slow, deep inhalations, slow, deep exhalations to really start moving deep into the fascia, into the organs, into the nervous system, into the energy body, clearing all the gunk that has built up just from being human. Not to mention the big stresses of the world, but just our daily stresses. Clearing our internal river so that we can have more clarity, more intuition, more creativity at our disposal. All right, my friends, slowly start to crawl forward. You're finding that low lunge, but the right leg is on the outside of the right hand. Lift the back toe or back knee. Now from here, you're going to use your core muscles to draw the left leg forward, coming into a proper Malasana Squat. So now the toes are turned out. The hips are falling in between the heels. Bring your hands to prayer. Draw them to the center of your sternum with the arms on the inside of the thighs. Feel the spine lengthening. So as the tailbone gets heavy, the center of the heart is lifting up towards the heavens. So much is going on here, so breathe. Notice what you're noticing, feel what you're feeling, meet yourself where you're at. This is not about perfection, but it's about being present, learning how to make adjustments so that we can arrive into different moments of challenge or moments of expansion and meet ourselves where we're at. One more breath here. All right, hands hit the earth. Take an inhale, lift the hips, fold over the legs on an exhale, heel toeing the feet underneath your hips. Next inhale, wave the spine up halfway. And exhale, fold over your legs. Let's take our peace fingers, wrap them around the big toes. Once again, inhale, wave the spine up halfway. Maybe wiggle your booty, really find length on the side body. Now as you exhale, bend the elbows in opposite direction, chin to chest, crown of the head towards the earth. So you can have the knees bent as much as you want, but if you are extending through the knees, just engage the quadricep muscles, the front of the thighs, by lifting the kneecaps. Keep feeling that low belly drawing in and up. Good, slowly release your feet. Deep bend in your knees. Inhale draws the low belly in and up, engaging the core, supporting your spine. As you exhale, roll up the spine vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae. As you inhale, like you're moving through salt water, float the arms up overhead, palms touch, hold for a moment, nip the rib cage in. As you exhale, bend the elbows, touch the back of your heart, and then sweep it forward to the crown of your head, third eye, and the front of your heart. Arms by your side, Tadasana. Take a moment, notice what you're noticing, feel what you're feeling. See if you're starting to feel more connected to that subtle body, that energy body, that sensation of vibrating and feeling as though the body is starting to breathe you. Take an inhale, reach the arms out and around, up over your head. Exhale, hinge at the hips, lead with your heart, fold over your legs. Inhale to wave the spine up halfway. Now exhale, step the right foot to the back of the mat. Start with that strong foundation, strong low lunge. Really reach forward so the back heel's on top of the ball of the foot, back leg is alive. Push down through that left foot, lifting the left sitting bone. Lift your arms for a moment to make sure you feel strong here. You can hold yourself up. And then slowly place your hands back down on the mat. Lower the right knee to the mat. Bring your left hand and then your right hand to your left thigh. Move your hips back slightly, magnetize the pubic bone up towards the navel. Drop the left hip down as you lift the right hip so the hips are squared. Don't worry about what your arms are doing, just focus on your hips and then bring them forward. Feel that sensation in the front of your right quadricep muscle. Then go ahead and reach your arms up overhead. Draw the arm bones back in alignment with your ears. And as you do this, you'll feel a lengthening across the collarbones. The center of the heart lifts. So much is going on here, so use the breath to assist that change, that transformation. Imagine it's like cleaning out a junk drawer in your house, right? You're starting to go through and take out some of that junk so that there's more space. Good, slowly come forward to frame your front foot. And then you're gonna bring the left hand on the inside of the left foot, heel toe left foot to the outer edge of the mat, toes turn out. And just as we did before, either stay here or you can lower your forearms onto a block or directly to the mat, elbows under shoulders. Take a nice big inhale through your nose here. Exhale, let it go with a ha. Feel that sensation in the left thigh now. Relax the neck. Now you can either stay here if this is serving you and you're like, I could just stay here all day, then stay here. You're going to rise up to your hands and reach around with your left hand thumb up. So that'd be step one. Step two would be starting to bend the right leg. And maybe you just stay there. That really works on strengthening the hamstring. But if you can connect the left hand to the outside edge of the right foot, do that. flex the toes. So you want to feel the toes drawing away. And either stay up here as you draw the heel towards the buttocks, or you can lower down to your forearm. And if you do that, you can also draw the left shoulder back in space, so you come into a bit of a heart opener here as well. Again, you're going to feel lots of energy moving here, so use your breath here. Slow, deep inhalations, slow, deep exhalations, exhaling in any way that feels most releasing to you. Now, if you have a hold of the back foot, slowly let it go. You're going to bring that left hand back on the inside of the left foot, rising up to your hands. And then as you exhale, send the hips back, straightening that left leg, flexing the toes to face up towards the ceiling. Take an inhale, wave the spine up halfway, draw the outer left hip back in space. And then as you exhale, start to bend the elbows as you reach the heart towards the front of the mat, but let your neck muscles go here. And then breathe into the sensation in the back of the left leg. Three more breaths here. Notice what you're noticing, feel what you're feeling. All right, slowly start to crawl forward. Find that low lunge, but the hands are still on the inside of that left foot. Left toe slightly turned out. Lift the right knee. Feel the low belly drawing in and up. The core, the belly, is what draws that right foot forward to the outside of the right pinky. As you come into a proper Malasana Squat, toes turned out, hips fall in between the heels. Bring your hands into prayer as you draw them to the center of the heart. Feel the spine lifting. Breathe here, meet yourself where you're at. We're here only 30 seconds. You got this. Another 5, 4, 3, 2. Inhale, bring the hands onto the earth. As you exhale, lift the hips, folding over your legs, heel toe your feet underneath the hips. Inhale to wave the spine up halfway. Exhale, fold here. Just let the crown of the head reach towards the earth. Let this forward fold be everything. Just totally surrender into it. Land in it in a way that feels good to you. Imagine any worries or stresses or judgments that you're holding on to, that there's a white light at the crown of the head and they're just pouring out of the crown of your head. Good. From here, you're going to slowly walk back to the center of the mat. Just walk back to the center of the mat. Good. Now from here, inhale, wave the spine up halfway. And as you exhale, you're going to sit into that squat with the toes facing forward, armpits in the knees. Now as you inhale, lift up the balls of the feet, knees face towards the front of the mat. You're finding that balance. And as you exhale, slowly lower the knees to the mat. Torso has to slightly go back, coming into intense toe stretch. Good. From here, inhale, lift the hips, reach the arms up overhead. Now as you exhale, cactus the arms, lift the heart. Feel the pubic bone lift up towards the navel, tailbone lengthens down towards the heels or the back of the knees. You can either stay here or you're going to bring the hands, fingertips facing up to the low back. As you do that, hug the elbows in. Keep feeling the heart lifting. Keep feeling the tailbone drawing to the back of the knees. You want your hips right over your knees. And if you'd like to go a little bit further, you can reach your hands towards your heels. This is Uttanasana, Camel Pose. Keep the hips directly over the knees. You can keep the throat closed, chin to chest, or open the throat, letting the head fall back. I personally like to keep the throat closed, and then just lift the heart. Staying here another 5, 4, 3, 2. Inhale, lift from the center of the heart. Untuck your toes. As you exhale, sit back on your heels. Hands on your laps, relax your shoulders. Feel that energy moving through the spine. There is so much grace and love found in this space. We just have to be willing to lay down all the things that block us from seeing that it's always there, that it's the core of who we are. You're going to do this, believe it or not, your first downward facing dog of the practice. So just step back to plank, lift the hips, just to stretch and release from the Uttanasana. This is your own down dog. We'll just stay here a breath or two. And then lower your knees to the mat and press back child's pose, hips to heels. And the third eye will rest on the mat. And you can feel free too to slide your arms, which I'll go ahead and do that, back by your side, palms up, shoulders relaxed towards the earth. Feel yourself breathing into the back of your rib cage, back of your lungs, back of your heart. So you're doing back body breathing here. Bringing more awareness to your shadow side and the things that are harder to look at, harder to be with. And bringing more ease and love and spaciousness to those places. And then you're going to slowly roll up your spine and come to a seated position. You'll extend your legs forward, setting up for staff pose. So as you do this, just rock side to side, letting your sit bones, almost as though the sit bones are sliding out behind you. The left sit bone is sliding back into the left, and the right sitting bone is sliding back into the right. Feet are flexed, toes are facing the ceiling, and your hands are by your side. Draw the shoulder heads back, lift the heart, engage the legs, and just feel the low belly drawing in and up. Really strong pose here, staff. Now you're either going to stay here, maybe you'll get a strap, and if you have a strap, you're going to work on Paschimottanasana, forward fold, and I'll give you some options here. You can either work on that here, you may not need a strap, that's fine. But the other option, if this feels okay on your knee and your ankle, everyone's going to take their left foot back into a half Virasana. So the top of the ankle's on the ground and the heel's right next to the hip. Then from here, you'll do a forward fold. Feel the low belly drawing in and up. There's this lifting up as you hinge at the hips and lead the heart forward. Then the heart softens, chin towards chest, and just be here, feeling that energy moving in the back of the right leg. If your foot has disconnected from your awareness, bring it back to the awareness. So engage at the ankle, flex the foot, toes face the ceiling. Because you're slowly, like you're moving through molasses, you're going to come upright. If you have both legs extended forward, keep them that way. If you have the left leg folded back, keep it that way. Now the right leg is going to bend, and you're going to bring the foot on the inside of the left thigh as the knee opens up laterally like a book opening. I'll turn so you can see. And some of you may look like this, and that's fine. Now, if it feels okay, you're going to take this right foot and bring the heel to the groin. And as you do that, you're going to lift your right sitting bone up and let the right knee face down. My foot, notice it's engaged so the toes are flared back. My leg is active. It's not just dangling there, it's active. And then you're going to twist your torso to the right. Bring your right hand back behind you. It's actually an internal rotation of the right shoulder. And either grab the left side of your hip or lean forward and grab a hold of the foot. For a twist, taking the left hand to the right knee. If there's a little bit more space, you can bring a flat palm underneath that knee, press the palm down, but lift through the spine and the chest as you twist. Two more breaths here. Slowly unwind from that. Oh. Extend the legs. And let's get that other side done. So either again, Paschimottanasana, both legs extended, or this time you'll take the right leg back, top of the ankle down, right heel to the outside of the right leg. As you inhale, get tall, low belly draws in and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, lead with the heart. Fold forward. Relax the jaw. Let the lips slightly part, tongue hits the roof of the mouth behind the upper teeth. Like you're moving through molasses, slowly start to rise up. Either keep the right leg straight or bent. And then you'll take the left leg and bring the sole of the foot on the inside of the right thigh. Knee opens up to the left laterally like a book opening. Either stay there, or if it feels okay, you'll lift the left leg and bring that left heel to the right hip. Now to do this properly, it's okay if this left knee is floating up a little bit, but you can lift up using your left hand and draw the knee down a little bit. And you're going to twist to the left, take that right or left arm behind you. There's an internal rotation of the shoulder head, and you're going to reach around and grab the right hip or lean forward if your foot is up there and grab a hold of the foot and then lean back. Right hand to the left knee. Or you can take the palm of the hand to the earth underneath the left knee. As you press the palm down, lengthen through the spine and twist. You can play with where the neck goes and what feels good to you. Two more breaths here. Good. Slowly release, unwind. Feel all that energy moving through your arms. And then bring the soles of the feet together. Knees open. Wrap your hands around the outside edges of the feet. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips. Use the elbows to press the thighs away. We're just going to stay here for a couple breaths because we're getting ready to move on to self-myofascial release using tennis balls. I just want to get into our inner thighs and groins a little bit more. All right, come on up. And grab your 2 tennis balls. 1, 2. All right, we're going to bring these tennis balls underneath our back. We're going to slide down, working with the upper back, which is where we hold in our shoulders and our upper back a lot of tension, right? A lot of burdens when we're carrying a lot of heavy stuff, metaphorically and literally, the tension tends to build up in our upper back and our shoulders. So we're going to focus on that. They will be underneath our back, and I'll show you how to get there in a moment, but just so you see, right where the neck meets the shoulders, the two tennis balls will be on the inside of the shoulder blades, framing the spine on the left and right side. The two tennis balls will actually be touching. And the way that you'll do this, and I'll even come a little closer, is you're going to come onto your back, knees bent, feet on the ground, and then just lift one shoulder and slide it just past that shoulder blade right next to the right side of the spine. Lie down and do the same thing on the left side. Again, the two tennis balls will be touching. If you don't feel much of anything, just slide them down a little bit further. Maybe about 2/3 of the tennis ball would be exposed, if at all. It's helpful to lift the hips for a moment too, just to settle the body weight onto the tennis balls, but then peel the spine from the upper spine, middle spine, lower spine, hips back onto the earth. Widen the feet hip distance apart, let the knees fall towards each other. Feel the middle of your spine melting towards the mat, and then use your breath like a soft caress to relax the tension, release the muscles, and allow the body to sink deeper over the therapy balls. Now, if you want to explore sensation, you can begin to move the arms like they're pieces of seaweed connected to the bottom of the ocean. They may float up overhead, back behind you, out to the side. They can do different things. And you might find that there's a place in space where the arms just want to settle and be. And that's fine. And it's also perfectly fine to just keep your arms by your side. You can play with rocking your head side to side. There's no right or wrong. The main thing is you're moving slow, always like you're moving through salt water. But there's an integrity in what you're doing because there's this deep awareness and connection to the breath. And at this point, the breath is just very much naturally happening. Your job here is just to make sure you're not holding it. And if you do catch yourself holding your breath, come back to breathing. So we're going to move to a second spot. You can either slide them down, reaching up by the shoulders and slide them down 1 inch. Or my favorite way, if you have hair, you're going to need to grab a hold of your hair so that you don't pull your hair. Bring your feet under your knees, lift your hips, and then slide your head about 1 inch closer to the top of the mat. This is going to slide the tennis balls down, and you're going to feel like your chest is lifted and elevated. Again, make your feet wider than the hips, knock the knees towards each other, and then melt the middle of your spine towards the mat. Use your breath to relax the nervous system. And if you want to explore sensation, you can do that moving the arms around slowly. So no rapid movement, but just slow exploration of where the arms might want to be based on what sensation is telling you. All right, let's go ahead and have us all move to the third spot, which is right at the tip of the scapulas. Again, slide it down an inch with your hands, or lift your head, grab a hold of your hair, lift your hips, and just slide your head an inch closer to the top of the mat. Place your hips and your head back down. Whew. Move slowly, use your breath, relax the legs. Feel the belly soften, the front of the rib cage soften, and feel free to use your arms if you want to explore sensation. You're going to slowly reach under by your rib cage and just rock side to side to remove the tennis balls out from underneath you. We're going to use them one more time, so just put them to the side and then bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees open, recline Baddha Konasana. Hands can either be by your side or one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart, and just take a moment to notice what you're noticing and feel what you're feeling. Okay, you're going to go ahead and bring the soles of the feet to the earth again, knees face up towards the ceiling. Grab your two tennis balls. You're going to lift your hips and slide them underneath your hips. So we have two little pressure points, two little dimples in our low back where our sacrum is. They're about an inch above the butt crack and then out to the side. And don't worry about the exactness of this, but more or less find that area. The key is that you should be able to just completely relax your hips on the two tennis balls. And I like to keep my hands there holding them just to, find the placement. And then you're going to lift your feet off the mat and let the knees just hover right over your hips. And you'll feel a bit more sensation, and you might even like rock side to side here. That can feel really good. And if you need to make any adjustments of where the tennis balls are, you can do that. And if there's any movement or rotating of the knees that you want to do here, you can do that. And then we're going to close with a restorative inversion. So we're going to extend our legs up into the sky for a full minute. And here's where you want to lift your hips and get the tennis balls to act as a kickstand to support the legs to stay up, feet facing the ceiling, and ideally heels more or less over the hips. Just 30 more seconds here. Okay. Now from here, you can go ahead and lift the hips slightly, remove the tennis balls out from underneath you. And I'd love for you to take a happy baby and or a recline twist here. So if you prefer to only do one or the other, that's fine, but I'll guide everyone into a happy baby. Reach on the inside of the thighs, grabbing the outside edges of the feet or the front of the shins. And then your feet are facing the ceiling. You're drawing the knees straight down towards the armpits, and the heels are directly over the knees. feel the tailbone lengthening down towards the bottom tip of the mat. And feel free, anything that feels natural and intuitive here to you to do. That's extending one leg and bending the other one deeper. Maybe it's just holding this. And then from here, you can either start to set yourself up for Shavasana if you're just feeling really grounded and ready, or you can go ahead and pop your hips to the left, draw your knees into your chest, and then let them fall to the right for a recline twist. Keep that left shoulder rooted down as you take your gaze to the left. Just a simple recline twist before we move into Shavasana. And then go ahead and come back to center. Bring your hips square to the mat and then pop them to the right. Draw the knees into the chest, let them fall over to the left. Root down that right shoulder, take the gaze to the right. And then you're slowly going to come on back to center and set yourself up for Shavasana. So if that means putting socks on your feet or a sweater on your body, take the next 20 seconds or so to set that up. And then come on to your back. Your feet are a little bit wider than the hips, arms by your side, palms facing up. Let's all take an exhale here together. And then inhale fully, bring it up to the tip of your heart, tip of your lungs. When you think you've sipped in all the air you can, sip in a little bit more, and then hold the breath for 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale out of the mouth. Shavasana. And today I'm going to close by reading a poem that I wrote for this class. It's called Lay It Down. If it feels heavy, lay it down. Your worries, your worst case scenarios, your addictions to drama, to pain, to overwhelm, lay it down. Let yourself free from the mind traps that use your imagination to spark a flame called fear, locking into your gut like a gnarly rotted root. Conjure another possibility. Dare to ignite a flame called love, dancing you open along the waters of wonder, tickling your curiosity into care. You're free to go there. The ticket is that you must breathe. And if the temptations of worry are a force bigger than your devotion to live in love, I encourage you to pray, to shake, to chant your way to liberation, because if you have truly come to a crossroad called no choice, then still worry will not aid you. So give yourself reprieve. Lay down the brutal burdens of your imagination. Lay down the weight of a story you cannot bear. Lay down the heavy lifting of illusion and breathe, sister. Breathe, brother. Breathe. And begin to deepen your breath. Rock your head side to side, giving the back of your head a massage. The slower you go, the more you'll feel that. And slowly, like you're moving through thick honey, you're going to float your arms up overhead. Grab an opposite wrist and stretch. Point your toes away from your fingers and your fingers away from your toes. So you're back lifting, lifting, lifting. And then as you exhale, just let everything release. Feel the earth holding you. And feel free to stay here longer, letting the earth hold you, feeling your body breathing you, giving more time and space for this to integrate. And also, if you feel ready to close your practice in your own time and your own way, you'll slowly come up to a seated position. And when you arrive there, just take a moment to honor whatever it is that you honor in this practice. Have a moment of reverence for the breath, for our ability to ignite this vital energy, this magic from within. And recently I've been closing all my classes in this way that Brené Brown closes her podcast called Unlocking Us, which I highly recommend. And I will close by saying, may we stay awkward, brave, and kind. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here.